The 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 coons are at each other's neck. Ain't that right, Rocky? Stephen A. Smith got checked by the white girl, and for once, Stephen A. Smith snapped back on the white girl. I ain't never thought I'd see that. Roland Martin and Charlamagne going at it. I'm not gonna call those brothers coons. I'm not gonna call them that. But I will say they both have done their fair share tap dancing for the Democrat Party and pushing agendas and narratives that are not constructive for Black America. They, for the most part, have been the accepted Negroes on the side of liberal white voices. But like I said at the beginning of the year, what did I say, Rocky? I said, this is the year, a 9 of Hearts year. Didn't I say that, Rocky? This is the year that teammates fight. People on the same team are fighting this year. Michelle Beadle and Stephen A. Smith used to be on the same network. So what we about to do today is, after I sit Rocky down, we're going to break some of what's been going on down, and we're going to talk about it, all right? To say bye to everybody, Rocky. So that's what we about to do. We're about to sit around, and we about to sit down. Give me like 30, 45 seconds, about a minute, and we're going to get started, all right? Let's go. Battle of the Misleaders. That's what we talking about today. So let's get into it. Before I get into it, welcome chat room. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all chat room for joining. We are at it. Thank y'all again for joining chat room. Y'all always welcome to be up in here. There we go. That's going to be our backing music right there. That's going to be our backing music. Well, again, thank y'all for joining. Appreciate y'all for being up in here. Oh, yeah, you know this show got the best music. Y'all don't hear none of those tick, 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 boom, generic ass YouTube beats on my show. I go to actual producers and say, give me something and give me something good. And they be like, I got you. But welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for joining. Can't say hi to everybody because we got people watching and I got shit to do after this. So I got to get up out of here pretty soon. But anyway, Media Meltdown, the Battle of the Misleaders. I'm going to start talking about Stephen A. Smith and Michelle Beadle. Okay, let me see. I don't know how to spell her last name. Fuck it. Stephen A. versus Michelle. Anyway, Michelle Beadle, I'm going to put her picture up right here. Appreciate the super chat, Blue Magic. 5253. Appreciate the super chat. This is Michelle Beadle. This is Stephen A. Smith. The reason why this story is important is because on her podcast, she said she wishes that Stephen A. Smith fails. Let me give you guys a backstory. This all started when the Ray Rice punching incident happened in 2014. Stephen A. Smith said some things that were reasonable, I thought, but y'all know how they pick and choose when to get mad and when not to get mad. So they chose that time to go in on Stephen A. Smith, and Michelle Beadle was his colleague at ESPN. ESPN at the time had a rule to where one host couldn't attack each other across shows. You cannot let disagreements go on air. So back then, you see how she looked back then. She was younger back then. She aged like buttermilk, obviously. What she did was she went on the attack and she attacked Stephen A. Smith for what he said. Breaking company policy. She was not reprimanded. She was not punished. Stephen A. Smith had to come out like a whipped dog with a tail between his legs and apologize and go on the apology tour, go on The View and all that stuff to clarify himself. And since then, she's for the most part been, for those of us who've had mainstream jobs with people of other races, and even some with our own race, we've all had that one coworker that's just a pain in your side. You don't acknowledge them, you don't talk to them, you don't talk about them. You just keep as far away from them as possible. That was Stephen A. Smith's relationship with Michelle Beadle, but she kept going in and in and in, and it culminated this past weekend in her saying that she basically prays for his downfall. She said she prays for his downfall. And in my opinion, she's been a low-key white supremacist since I've seen her. I never liked her. She's one of the reasons why I even stopped watching sports TV. And so she did that. And Stephen A's response was epic. He went in. He talked about how he don't like her, how he never spent any time around her, never said anything to her or about her, and went in talking about how she, because she was saying that he ain't a good worker. She was going in on him. And for the first time in my life, for the first time I've ever seen since he's been a public figure, Stephen A. Smith went as hard on her as he does on black athletes. And I was like, damn, I gotta cover this. I'm gonna go over a couple parts.
In order to be successful.
Listen to a snippet of some of the stuff that he was saying about her.
And to help the network that I represent be successful. That's what I'm going to do. That might be the reason I'm sitting here in a studio I own, by the way. And you're not.
I like that. A brother flexing what he owns. Even though I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith 98% of the time. Even though I'm never going to be against a brother owning his shit and getting paid. I'm never going to be against that. It's enough space for everybody. He said, I own this, and you don't.
And I wonder why that is, Michelle Beadle. Let's count the ways. So, and I'm going to take it in chronological order rather than skip stuff, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm accurate. Okay. You left ESPN.
Listen to this.
for NBC in 2012. Didn't you do that? You did the show, went to do the show, the crossover. In September 2013, it was canceled. I'm sorry, in January of 2013. It premiered January 28th, 2013. It was canceled in September. You didn't even make it a year. It was canceled in 8 months. You had a host that you was working with at the time. And I'm not going to throw his name out there. I mean, y'all can look it up if y'all want to. But know that he left within 3 months.
Ooh.
Could that have been because of you?
Ooh.
Because we all know you like to do what you want to do and you don't give a damn about napalm and bridges. There's actually videos on social media showing how you say you've napalmed bridges.
Ooh.
That's what you do. He left. The show was left up to you. Lasted 8 months because its ratings really cracked 40,000 viewers.
Ooh, shit.
40,000.
40,000?
I average over 500,000. Sometimes 600,000, sometimes 700,000, sometimes 800,000.
He said your show on ESPN with all those resources was barely cracking 40,000 views. And my show on YouTube is getting 500, 600,000. Hey, chat room. This is what I'm talking about. On the right wing, you got Candace Owens dominating right-wing media. On the left, you got a black man dominating sports media. Let me break down the significance of that to you and why people like Michelle Beadle are so fucked up in the head over it, and why Stephen A. Smith has all of these. You notice he gets to, it's a lot of the white commentators from Pat McAfee to, you know, that be throwing shots at Stephen A. Smith. You know, they always want to throw shots because historically, sports media was left to white men. In the newspaper, and in journalism, sports is oftentimes the highest paying position at the paper, going back to the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. When people had print media, the sports writer position was the most prestigious. Not business, not the economy, not that stuff. Why? Because the sports page was the most read. That was the part of the paper that was read the most. So the best journalist got the sports job. They didn't have to know much about sports. Same thing in TV. The news anchors and the sports anchors. ESPN is far more highly rated than CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. So the sports anchor jobs, because they're the most highly rated, those go to the best talented. That's why, for those of us who know sports like I know basketball, when you listen to these guys talk, you can tell that 98% of these people talking sports don't know what the fuck they talking about. Because the reason they got the job isn't because they knew sports. See, people think sports writers get the job because they know sports. Hell no. They get the job because they're good on camera. They get the job because they're good writers. And they're the most convincing writers. And so since they're convincing writers, they just happen to write about sports. That's why you guys are inundated with stats and all this bullshit, because they don't know what the fuck they talking about. Stephen A. Smith barely knows what he's talking about when it comes to sports, but his little knowledge is still more vast than all of the rest of those guys. So what you have to understand is sports journalism, and the reason why ESPN and all those places are so negative towards primarily the NBA and NFL. I noticed this shit when Shaq and Kobe was doing their thing. ESPN and those places, they were always pitting Shaq versus Kobe. I'm in college these years, and these are my high school college years, the Shaq Kobe years, and they always pitting them against each other But then when I watched baseball, I think this is like 2001 when the Arizona Diamondbacks won the World Series. You had Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson on the same team. I'm like, hold on. Was it Kurt Schilling or was it Roger Clemens? No, it's Kurt Schilling. Yes, Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson. I noticed when I would watch ESPN, they would talk about how great Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson both were as pitchers. They didn't play them against one another. But when I watched my Lakers, they wouldn't talk about how great Shaq is and how great Kobe is. They would always pit the two against one another. And so I saw really early on that, okay, sports is just a place that these journalists just could shit on black men. I'm giving you context because now this space isn't supposed to be for black men. This is supposed to be for them. They only allow black men in the door for two reasons. One, sports TV. Black men are the highest percentage home middle of the day because we have the highest unemployment rate, especially young black men. Young black men have, going back to when the economy was good back in 2003, young black men are the most likely to be home middle of the day because of lack of employment. So if I want eyes, I want to at least put pretty women and black men on the screen. That's when they brought up part PTI. That's when these debate shows started coming. People want to see themselves on TV. You're more likely to make these viewers stay here longer if they look like the demographic on TV. So you want to put black faces on these shows now because you know black men are most likely to turn there and watch. And the other reason why black men got put on, like Stephen A. Smith, like Jason Whitlock, like Marcellus Wiley, like all these guys, is so that they can shit on black athletes. They never shit on the white boys. They didn't mention Ben Roethlisberger and the 2 accusations of rape. They never talked about Peyton Manning pulling his balls out and putting them on that woman's forehead in the gym at the University of Tennessee, allegedly. White men get to be, Josh Giddey was with a goddamn 16-year-old, then a 17-year-old, because he was with the same girl apparently, allegedly, for 2 years while she was underage, and they didn't talk about it. But let a black man, I remember when Pac-Man Jones, they was always replaying Pac-Man Jones walking out with a bag of McDonald's in his hand when he had his situation, replaying that shit over and over and over and over again. Let's find a picture with them looking sloppy, with their dreads not put in, not lined up right, and let's replay these images over and over and over and over again. And Stephen A. Smith's job, all them niggas' job is to say everything the white boys want to say but cannot say. That's what he was brought in for. The same reason why Candace Owens was brought in. This is almost right in alignment with yesterday's show on Candace Owens. Both of them were brought in for the same reason. Say everything about black folks that white folks cannot say. Well, unfortunately for them and for me, and hilariously for me and us, we get to sit and laugh at this shit. Because the poison that they brought in for us is turning against them. Now, all these white folks is mad as fuck. And the Stephen A. Smith right now is winning. Got $100 million some odd dollar deal from ESPN. Candace Owens got her monetization back. She is winning. And no matter how we feel about these stepping fetches, it is what it is. And for black Americans, I want to tell y'all something. I want to tell y'all something, black Americans. Don't get mad that Stephen A. Smith and Candace Owens are the highest paid, the most watched. It's how it always has been with us. The jigaboos always get paid the highest. Your Tyler Perry's. This goes back to Step and Fetch It. Step and Fetch It was from the Caribbean. And he was the highest paid black actor. Made more money than all of them. That's okay. Let them have it. Because the shit comes back to them. Like, if these folks want to spend all their money on letting these niggas that aren't good for black folks be the loudest, let them. Because it's just going to come back and hurt them. We resilient. We strong. Now let's make sure we call the shit out. But you see, Stephen A. Smith has had enough. And he's going at the white girl like a motherfucker. Oh, quick commercial break. I know what Sunday's class is canceled, class number 4 on Patreon for the history of R&B, because I got to interview another lady who is she's the absolute most awarded woman in lowriding, and she said she wants to do an interview, and so and her only time she can do an interview is on Sunday. At the time I usually do my class, so no class Sunday. That's because me and Hassan gonna be doing some more documenting Black American history through our connection to lowriders. So we will be back at it the following Sunday, but I'll just probably do a Q&A instead next week for everybody on Patreon. So no class Sunday. No class Sunday, no class Sunday, okay? We'll get to it the following Sunday because I got to document our history. You dig? And you're going to go to Incense and Ashtrays, youtube.com/Incense and Ashtrays. It's going to be put up over on that channel. All these interviews, all that stuff is all going over to Incense and Ashtrays. So make sure y'all subscribe to it, all right? Yes, AJ3. Yes, this is one of the white. I see your concern, AJ3, but no, Stephen A. Smith has kowtowed to a few different white girls. So yes, this is one of the ones he kowtowed to. And this was he kowtowed to her back in 2014 over the Ray Rice incident. But let's keep going.
In the morning, you were on in prime time, drive time, and you couldn't crack 50. What happened? Sports Business Journal, September 25th, 2013. NBC SN has canceled the low-rated crossover. That's a quote from Sports Business Journal. I will name the guy's name because I'm not throwing him out there or whatever like that. No shade on him, but the guy's name was Dave Briggs that you was working for that left you in 3 months. I don't know why. I have no idea. I can imagine, but I don't know. There's a program shift since you were hosting the show solo for the final months. A shift from sports pop culture hybrid to pure sports talk, then back again. A change that Beadle says later confused viewers and producers alike. So the viewers were confused and the producers were confused, but you wasn't. Oh, you knew exactly what you were doing. Okay.
Hey, I ain't never seen Stephen A. Smith go at a non-black person like this. Oh, shit. And then he made a response to Kari Champion that I don't like to see these two go at it. I stopped watching ESPN by the time Kari Champion came around, but I've met her before. She's a beautiful soul.
You stayed as long as you stayed and had the support of the people that supported you because of me.
I want to hear it because she basically called him out. Listen to this segment right here, and this is going to go off to the one we said. Then we're going to get over to the other topic. But listen to this.
Say this about me. Please play cut number 7.
Stephen A. I played that Michelle Beadle clip for one reason and one reason only. I'm old enough to remember being on that show and getting in trouble based on some comments you said about women and whether or not they should know their place when it comes to abuse or non-abuse. Ray Rice comes to mind. Not going to get into the details of all of that. But Beadle just came for you yet again, like she did when I worked at ESPN, I wonder, do you have that same smoke for her that you have for Jasmine Crockett, that you have for Michelle Obama, that you sometimes display for me and Jamel Hill? Do you have that same smoke? I'm sick of it. Keep the same energy. And I call you and I root for you and I say, hey, I got your back. I'm happy for you. But you keep that same energy, sir, for everybody.
You should be ashamed.
I like what she said. She's right. You should keep that energy for everybody. But I want to get to a lesson in this. Listen to this part here.
Be yourself. You just said, Kari, you called me, you root for me. Why would you root for somebody that called you out in Jamel Hill, who's your good friend? Because it's never happened.
Yeah, I've never seen him call them out. I've never seen that.
Never. I've shown you nothing but love. What are you talking about? You were hired at First Take in large part because of me. You stayed as long as you stayed and had the support of the people that supported you because of me. Do I need to get bosses to confirm that I'm telling the truth? You know I can. When we see the diverse people that come on First Take, black people, women, the list goes on and on. Who did that? That wasn't happening when Skip was there. That was me. What are you talking about? When have I spoken against you? When have I thrown shade against you? When did that happen? That is a lie. Me? Dogging Kari Champion? When? And if I did it, why did you call me and root for me? What are you sick of? Or did you just want the attention? You see,
that part there, why am I bringing this up? I'm not, y'all know me. If I talk about Stephen A. Smith on this show, 9 times out of 10 it's calling out some bullshit that he said. 19, I'm going to take it back. I apologize, I lied. 29 times out of 30 is calling out some bullshit. If I talk about Stephen A. Smith. Because I think that he's just a bad image for us. I really do. I think he's just a horrible image for us. But I still respect him and his work ethic. I still got respect for him. But why am I talking about it? Yeah, she was talking about Michelle Beadle. But the main reason why she was calling him out was because of Stephen A.'s point of view on Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris. You know, Stephen A. Smith famously said things about Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris. Hey, Pops, I'm live. I'll call you back when I'm done. All right. My dad calling me. Pops, he always be like, man, I'll be always calling you when you live. I love my Pops. But he's always like, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying before my dad called? What was I saying, chat room? I lost my train of thought. I gotta call my dad back. What was I saying, chat? I was talking about I lost my goddamn train of thought. He's Brendan Lexington. Stephen A. on his nigga shit today. Yeah, he said Kari trying to be relevant. What was I talking about, chat room? I lost my train of thought. Jasmine Crockett, yeah. That's what I was talking about. Jasmine Crockett. So she was really mad at Stephen A. Smith for calling out Jasmine Crockett, for calling out Kamala Harris. And she was siding with, she basically had a political issue with him. Here's why I bring that up. If it's true, I wasn't there, but she hasn't denied it as of yet. Stephen A. Smith helped her get the job. If Stephen A. Smith helped Kari, and later on in this particular broadcast, I'm not going to play any more of his shit, But he talks about how he saw her on the tennis network and made when she when he found out she wanted to come to ESPN, he made things happen for her to get at ESPN. This is a lesson I want to give everybody. So many times in life, and right, especially now with political division being the way it is, people get really, really, really divided over politics. And you'll forget about somebody who actually helped you out in real life and stop being cool with them over a political difference. Over political. Speaking of my dad just called me. Me and my dad was having a conversation just this past weekend. One of my dad's childhood friends died last week. And I told some of y'all the story. One of his best friends that he's been knowing since he was like 5. All of my friends used to call his name was Uncle Moon. All of my friends used to call him Uncle Dolomite because he was one of them brothers that drove a Cadillac and still had the chopped sideburns, and he'd wear the hat, the fedora. And Moon and he was one of them black men that talked like this. Yeah, you motherfuckers can't talk to me. I'm motherfucking Moon. I know Moon pseudo. Because my dad and my uncles, they learned karate under Chuck Norris in a style called Tang Sudo. And this Chuck Norris before he became a movie star back in the late 60s. My dad and my uncles went to his studio on Wilshire, and they learned a style called I think it was like Tang Sudo. And Moon would be like, yeah, fuck the Tang Sudo. I put some of that Moon Sudo on your ass. Moon, he used to always call my mom Miss Brown. He never called my mom by her first name. He'd always say Miss Brown. And there was one day when we lived in these apartments, these dudes was shooting dice on the steps, and Moon came in and saw that, and he was like, Miss Brown, they be out there shooting dice? She was like, yeah. So when the next day my mom and my dad went to work, Uncle Moon came by with a shotgun and cranked that, and then cranked the motherfucker. This is how I told the story to us. He was like, Miss Brown, have you seen any of those niggas playing? He said, you seen any of those motherfuckers playing, shooting dice on the stairwell? My mom was like, no, we ain't seen him in a couple days. He said, yeah, Miss Brown, because I came back to this motherfucker, put my shotgun twice, and shot that motherfucker in the air, and said, if I see any of you motherfuckers here again shooting dice in Miss Brown's hallway, I'm going to put one of these shotgun shells in your motherfucking ass. That was Uncle Moon, one of my dad's best friends. Well, he died this last week. And there was a period around the time of Obama that my dad and Uncle Moon didn't talk for a little while because Uncle Moon was a Republican. He was one of them brothers that was like, man, I'm a Republican. I don't want none of these motherfuckers coming across the border. These motherfuckers. He was one of them niggas like, Uncle Moon, you a limo driver. You ain't rich. Your clients are rich, not you. But he and my dad had a falling out for a few years over some political differences, but they made up over that. They were childhood friends. They long since made up over that. And me and my dad was talking about how it was like, my dad was like, man, I had to check myself because one of our mutual friends got us back together. And my dad was like, man, I had to check myself. And he had to check himself because it's like, we've been there for each other since the 60s. And to let some politicians we don't know cause a divide between us, that's not their fault, that's our fault. And that's what me and my dad was just talking about. Then I came up on this story right here. No matter how Kari Champion feels about Stephen A. Smith politically, and no matter how you may feel about somebody politically, don't let no sorry bitch-ass politician or bitch-ass political party drive a wedge between you and people who've been there for you. If you're going to fall out over somebody, let it be over something that they did to you. Let it be over something they said about you to people and you heard and it got back to you and they said, let it be over an action. It's people, life is hard, y'all. And You only have so many people that's you gonna come across that you have a good energy with, that you can vibe with. Don't let how somebody fucking votes or their opinion on a bitch ass politician come between you and somebody who love you. Love go deeper than what way I vote, what way I see some shit. Let them other motherfuckers fight over that. We as black folks, we ain't got no time for that shit. We supposed to be politically diverse. We not a monolith. If I come across a Trump supporting coon, I won't say coon, I want to use that word, but I could get along with Larry Elder if he wasn't a coon. My issue is when you start using your point of view to now go and hurt people. Now you want to spread out hurt. That's a little bit different. But I vote this way, you vote that way. I hate this politician, you like that politician. So the fuck what? So what? Don't let no political sorry ass difference come between your relationship with real people. People who done picked up your kids when you couldn't make it. People who done had your back in a tough situation. People who was a shoulder to lean on when you needed a crutch. Somebody you laughed with. Fuck all the hard times. Somebody that brought you joy and pleasure through laughter. It's not a better gift somebody that can give you than somebody that can make you laugh. And you over here turning your back on somebody that done gave you some extreme joy through laughter because of how they voted. You a dickhead. Don't do that. So that's my little preaching ceremony part for this part right here, which takes me over to, rest in peace, Uncle Moon. Rest in peace. I want my dad. I'm lucky, man. I grew up with my dad, my mom in the house, and I got to see their friends. My dad's friends, man. Y'all know how many times I'll be sitting there at the table watching them play dominoes and drink beer and smoke weed. Me and my brother, we be sitting there laughing our ass off. Cause they be, them old niggas from the 70s was funny as hell. My dad, they playing dominoes. Tennessee Toddy, all back, nobody. I'd be like, oh my God, Pops, stop saying that. You're not in 76 no more, man. That's my dad. Tennessee Toddy, all back, nobody. Like, this ain't 10. That's part of being black. I love it. But anyway, back to what we talking about. So now we got to deal with Roland Martin and Charlamagne. These two are going at it. And Roland Martin and Charlamagne, they both represent the approved Negro. What did I tell y'all in my card reading for the year? People on the same side of the fence are going to be going at each other. So this is a battle of the misleaders. This is the battle of the misleaders. The kind that are sent out there to really push talking points that are not constructive to the overall betterment of black society. It's like I said before. Let me set the ground for this. They pull real black voices out of the media in the 90s. Remember back in the 90s, you would see Khalid Muhammad on Phil Donahue. You would see Dr. Welsing every now and again on Sally Jesse Raphael. You would see Farrakhan every now and again on Nightline. When it all started really with the Million Man March. We just had last month the anniversary of the Million Man March. But y'all got to realize the Million Man March changed a lot of things. After the Million Man March, a lot of your black intellectual base, it's not like the black intellectuals were being put out in media much. But after the Million Man March, there became a total silence of black intellectual leaders. No more Dr. Claude Anderson. Before that, you would every now and again see Dr. Claude Anderson on mainstream TV. You would every now and again see Khalid Muhammad, Farrakhan, Dr. Welsing, Leonard Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries' uncle. You would see these people. You would see them, Dr. Ben, on TV sometimes. Sometimes. You would see Scheherazade Ali in the late 80s, early 90s. Black people who were unapologetically about the overall betterment of our people. They had the books and the keys to the knowledge. Well, yeah, Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley, they even kicked him off. And he was somebody who was on the forefront of being safe. But Tavis Smiley wasn't safe enough. And so what they did was, so for those of you who are young, really under 30, y'all don't know this shit because y'all was too young or you weren't even born yet. And I'm barely old enough. Because I remember I was like in elementary school, middle school, when these people were on TV. By the time I got to high school, these niggas wasn't there no more. And so those guys got replaced with cats like Dr. Cornel West, who is a very much so an intellectual, but Cornel West knows when to pull back. Then we started getting the versipitous, proclivitous Michael Eric Dyson. We got replaced with him, saying a whole bunch of vivacious bullshit. You know, you had him come in. Then Roland Martin started appearing a bunch. I remember I first started becoming familiar with Roland Martin. He was on the BET news break. Remember, like when Video Soul would come on and stuff like that, and they had like a little news break. He was on shit like that, and so it's like whether you wanted to see Roland Martin or not, Roland Martin was gonna be in your face in the '90s, in the early 2000s. I know he's on Tom Jordan Morning Show, but we didn't get the Tom Jordan Morning Show out here in LA. We got it for like a little bit. We listening to Cliff Winston on KJLH or the House Party with John London. That's what we're listening to. Then later on, the Steve Harvey Show started out here, but we didn't really get Tom Joyner like that. Tom Joyner was here for like 1 year. But Roland Martin started coming around, and he's good. Roland Martin's really good at what he does. But Roland Martin was also the guy that was giving Hillary Clinton the questions and got caught. Roland Martin, as smart as he is, as well as he understands politics, I call him a misleader because he never tells black people what we really need to know. He tells us what the Democrats want us to know, but he doesn't tell us what we need to know. And we got to know the difference with these people. And then you get, like I said, educated pimp talk. I just saw that. Right, educated pimp talk. I know you probably talking Michael Eric Dyson. Oh, shit. Yeah, Donna Brazil and all that. And then you get Charlamagne the God. Or Charlemagne, I don't want to call him no God, because why would he name himself after Charlemagne the Conqueror, the person that got the Europeans united under Christendom, and that started the whole Christians versus the Moors started under Charlamagne, and he killed a lot of people. Never understood why you want to name yourself that. But we started getting people like Charlamagne. Roland Martin was getting older. Roland Martin is more for the baby boomers. They needed a misleader for Gen X and the millennials like me. So insert Charlamagne. He's the misleader for my generation. And so they take turns telling half-truths about Black America, misleading us, pushing all kind of Democrat agendas. You know, Charlamagne was really big with the trans and the LGBTQ agenda being conflated with the Black agenda. Roland Martin's really big with the immigrant agenda and anything else the Democrats going on being with the Black agenda. They both represent kind of different sides of the same coin when it comes to Black faces for a Democrat agenda. Although Charlamagne will act like he's not a complete Democrat, he will ask somewhat of a tough question. Every 200 questions he asks a politician, one to be mediocrely tough, versus Roland Martin, 0 out of 1,000 questions are going to be tough. So there's your difference. One to give you 5 out of 1,000 tough questions. The other one to give you 0 out of 1,000 tough questions. That's really the only difference. Now they're going at it. They are going at it. And I'm not going to play too much of that. I'm not going to play any of that. But I encourage y'all to go on their Twitters. I'm going to go on Instagram, or not Instagram, well, Instagram, but their Twitters, in their YouTube pages, you'll see them two going back and forth. Charlamagne went back at Roland Martin doing like you always do, calling people stupid. You know, Roland likes to call people stupid, and he's going at Charlamagne, and Charlamagne hit him back. And these two are going at it. But like I said, I told y'all before, in my card reading for the year, we said this was coming. People on the same side of the fence, on the same team going at it. And it's happening. So now that we talked about what's happened, let's talk about the solution. What are there to get into solutions? Solutions, solutions, solutions. And here's one solution. Let them fight. Sometimes the solution to a problem is to do nothing. Let problems resolve themselves. I was thinking about that because after I'm done talking to y'all, I'm drawing up a contract because I'm about to take over managing another apartment building. I've been managing apartment buildings now, since 2010, 2009, 2010. And that's one of my hustles, one of my many hustles. And I have a portfolio of buildings that I manage. And so I just got a call to manage another one. And so I'm gonna do it. But I was talking about, solving problems. First off, all these motherfuckers is about to get new leases because this person ain't charging them tenants shit on them late fees. Hell no. I'm telling y'all right now, I charge the California maximum on late fees. 6% of the rent is what your late fee is. Why? Not because I want your money. It's because I'm a busy motherfucker and I got 4 other businesses, not including my podcast, outside of my apartments that I run. So I don't have time to be going back and forth to the bank. When I got to make my run, that's the only time I want to see any of you motherfuckers this month. I ain't trying to come back. You inconvenience me when you late. I got a lot of shit to do and people responsible for me, and I ain't got time for your monkey ass excuses. Number 2, people got it. All you niggas that pay your rent late, you know I'm talking to you. You can pay it on time. But people who pay stuff late, they priorities be here, they priorities be there. They be here, they be there, and they think it's your job to wait on them. Newsflash, motherfucker, I run this. Do you have somewhere you want to lay your head? Then you will pay me on time. And when you don't, you're getting a 3-day notice. Rent's due on the 1st, late on the 3rd, I don't have it by the 5th, you getting that notice on your monkey ass door. 3 days to pay it quick. I do not play when I run my buildings. You gonna respect my shit. Guess what? Out of all the buildings I run, I haven't had to collect the late fee in over 2 years. You know why? Because I take care of my buildings. I take care of my tenants. I give them the respect that I want in return. My tenants have an issue. DeJuan, the plumb is messed up. If the plumber ain't there tonight, he'll be there in the morning. I ain't let my tenants go at night without taking a shower if I can avoid it. Grass is always cut. Pesticides are sprayed. So you don't have rats and roaches and shit. I do not play with my shit. And when it comes to the other stuff, to get to my point I'm making, with my tenants, I let them tenant disputes solve themselves. Oftentimes, they'll call you with something that they feel is an emergency. And you know what I'll do oftentimes? Listen to the message. Oh, yeah. DeJuan, what are you going to do? This person is doing that. Well, if I keep calling and jumping in they shit, and there's nothing legally I can do to evict either one, my voice is going to become moot. Fact is, they got to live amongst each other. Sometimes I got to pull back and let a dispute, even though it's my building, I can't be there to solve every little issue at my building. Sometimes the best decision I can make is to pull back and allow the issues to solve themselves. And 90% of the time, the issues solve themselves. You don't have to be an active participant in everybody's issue. Now, if it gets to the point to where it's affecting my other tenants, now I got legal grounds to evict you, and I'm still not going to get in your shit because I'm just going to evict you. Something that I had to do like 6 years ago with a tenant. They kept stomping and stomping, and they was upstairs. They all got shit like that. Now you affecting my other tenants. Now I got legal recourses. Get out of here. But that's the lesson of the day. Sometimes you got to sit back and let the trash take itself out. You can't be there for everybody, solving everybody's issues. You can't jump in these disputes and think that your voice means something all the time. Sometimes you gotta sit your monkey ass back and let things take care of themselves. Stephen A. Smith ain't no good for us. So yeah, although he went at that white woman, that was great entertainment. But I'm not getting involved in that nigga shit. I'll never speak up for Stephen A. Smith. Not the way he be treating us and doing us for a check. Hell nah. Roland Martin, he's a misleader. Charlamagne, he's a misleader. Let's watch these two fools go at it. Don't jump in that shit. That issue will resolve itself. All right. I want to thank y'all again for listening. I got a lot of shit to get done today. But yeah, we had a fun. I had fun with y'all. I hope y'all have fun with me. And go to patreon.com/TheJuanB. The Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation website is getting updated. We're about to have a direct donate tab and link on that website coming for you in the next week or two, so you can donate directly to the foundation. Again, no class this Sunday for those of you on the Music University tier. I'm doing another interview with the First Lady of Lowriding. She has more lowriding awards than any other woman on the planet. And we're going to talk to her about Black American lowriding culture in an interview that's going to be put up over on Incense and Ashtrays. All right? Scrap Dirty said, you ladies here. That's right. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all chat room for listening. Join the Patreon. And make sure y'all hit the like button. And do this. When I hit end, leave a comment after the video. That does a lot to help it get pushed up in the algorithm, all right? Leave a comment after the video as soon as we get up out of here, all right? Y'all have a good one. We out.